Good morning, everyone. So let me introduce myself. My name is Prasanna Lohar. I work for DCB Bank as a innovation head and architecture head. I primarily take responsibility of digital banking also at my bank. So without wasting much of time, the topic today is all around how cyber security is getting impacted. Like how because of this ongoing COVID scenarios, or what will be the norm post COVID? What are those roles and responsibilities CISO or a different stakeholder within a banks are really taking care for the cyber security? There are a lot of things are happening, and they were happening also. So if I request all of my panelists to just to introduce themselves in a 1 minute, and followed by their quick briefing around cyber security and the current trends, what's going on, so that will give a boost for the next level question which I'm going to come up. Yeah, so maybe we can start with Abhilash.
Yeah, hi, Prasanna. My name is Abhilash Balan, and I head the information security portfolio at Bharti AXA, including data privacy and business continuity. So as of now, yes, it's a fact that 100% of most of the organization employees are working from home, and that has given that has increased the risk, as well as it's an opportunity also. For instance, a lot of employees. We are able to test the IT infrastructure to the maximum. Yes, employees are able to work from home, but yes, security is a major challenge. Although there are definitive controls that we have established, but yes, hackers have become smart, and they are taking advantage of the current situation. So, along with
Abhilash, absolutely. Thank you so much. Welcome, Abhilash, for this quick discussion. Manoj is there, right?
Yeah, hi Prasanna. I'm there. So
hi, Manoj. Good morning.
Very good morning to everybody. So I'm Manoj Shrivastava. I'm CISO for Generali India Insurance, and I ensure information and cyber security along with data privacy and protection, and of course business continuity for my organization. So rightly, as Avila said that we are into some kind of transformation era, where we really are thinking to transform from traditional service continuity to actual business continuity, and maybe very soon, maybe a quarter or so, will be in situation that we I mean one has to be on desired state, and the things will be completely changed. I mean, the people are going boundaryless, and as you rightly said, Sudeep, that the same device is being used by all the family members. So equally, threat verticals are getting increased. So these kind of challenges we are facing, and the good thing is that we ensured actual business continuity, and we really did very good in the month of April. We went through results, and we overachieved. So it sounds that we are doing good.
Yeah, that's great, Manoj. Great to hear from how you are taking your organization towards cybersecurity readiness. I think let's move on to the Jacxine, right? So Jacxine, your views, if you can introduce yourself.
Hello, good morning, everybody. My name is Jacxine Fernandez. I am the Group CISO at Adani, based out of Ahmedabad, Gujarat. The portfolio is looking after cybersecurity. COVID, I think, is in a long line of new challenges for CISOs. Essentially, every I think 5 to 10 years, we are thrown a googly or a curveball, wherein we are forced to rethink, because once we get settled saying that these are the security processes I need, these are the technologies I need, these are the people I need, we get a little comfortable, and then we get a new thing like COVID. So like the panelists before me have mentioned, the new normal, which everybody likes to call it, is a certain percentage of your workforce working from home. So for that,
Yeah.
what are the new things that we have to take care of? And in all of this, the other part that has been exposed is that organizations are looking to optimize cost also in this. They've suffered a
Yes.
quarter losses. So it's not that I can bring the best of the best and just throw it in top of it and say, now you're secure. We have to be business mindful. And that is, I think, one of CISO's most important roles also, to be business centric. Because I've told this to other people, if you don't have a business, what are you going to secure? So one has to be business centric, that we cannot come up with the most shiniest new tool as a solution. We have to be judicious, we have to be cost effective, and yet not compromise too much on the security aspect. So yes, it is an interesting time to be a CISO, to be in information security. And I think the OEMs are evolving with us also. So it's
Yeah,
not
so
like
we
a
have
silver bullet.
Sudeep also out here. So, Sudeep, on to you. If you can just brief yourself and how this pandemic situation is keeping you engaged. I think Sudeep, are you on mute?
Oh, this is evolving, right? The unmute and mute button has to work in sync. Still getting used to it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And good morning, everybody. I'm Sudeep. I take care of the technical sales for IBM security products in India and South Asia. The suite of products or the domain in which IBM security really works is around security operations center, threat hunting, threat intelligence, data security, identity management, and device security, right? The last part of the chain of things that we do. Of course, things have changed. And the primary thing that we have seen in this new normal is people asking more detailed questions. And as Jacxine rightly mentioned, the detailed question is around how am I going to optimize and how am I going to make sense from a business perspective. Contextualization of security with respect to business requirements has become a very, very good topic to talk. We have been talking about, focus on business, but it really now has become a reality when people are looking at not just the shiny tools, but how these tools, what I already have, can make more sense of it. So would love to talk a little bit more as we go into the panel.
Yeah, so I think quite interesting things are happening these days. The time wherein we are aligned with a lot of aspirational things to do out of digital transformation. Banks, telecoms, many other companies see there is one question which is trending on social media. Who is really doing digital transformation? Is it CEO, CMO, CFO, or COVID, or customer, and so on, right? So ultimately, it certainly COVID has really accelerated this transformation journey. The organizations we were not thinking of transform slowly, they are also now started doing transformation. So all of a sudden, everybody is collaborating. See, business teams are collaborating heavily with IT teams. Earlier, you must have seen a meeting is happening in the span of 1 to 2 days or a weeks used to take to really close that meeting, that agenda. That is happening now. On online collaboration tools are there. Employees who were not utilizing those tools. So I remember the time when I was having a meeting with IBM. I said, let's have a physical meeting. I don't understand anything virtually. Or even some of those startups who were asking me, let's do a video demo, this and that. I always insisted them, let's have a face-to-face dialogue, which is a more connecting dialogue. I will understand you better. You will understand me better. But I think things has really changed a lot. Everybody is utilizing digital in a heavily. The people who were not on Netflix, they are utilizing Netflix. People who were just on there are so many things are happening on a digital side. Although we have seen digital payment transaction has reduced, or those e-commerce transaction has reduced, but on the other side, utilization of this collaboration platform has increased heavily. And when we utilize anything heavily, there are other pitfalls. So considering cybersecurity aspect, do you feel that this utilization of Zoom, wherein there are some news around Zoom or Hangouts or any of those tools, are these tools are vulnerable, or are these tools are loopholes for those cyber attackers who are really keen to get into organization network. So any views, Jacxine, you have any views? If anybody wants to add, uh, is that
I
really
think
required, or have we jumped into this collaboration all of a sudden without much of planning? Will it impact a lot in future?
I think I mean you hit the nail on the head, but I don't think this is something new. Again, I
Yeah,
think innovation and necessity has always driven change. Today, it is technology change. Previously, it was industrial change. So the need for transportation drove the invention of cars, but we didn't have seat
yeah,
belts, have brakes, we didn't have proper lighting. So this all came later on. Safety
yes,
and
yes,
those requirements come later on. So yes, collaboration tools have got a tremendous amount of boost because of something like COVID and a pandemic, but this was always going to be the case. And to answer your question very simply, are these tools, if anything is connected, is vulnerable? That's at least from a information and cybersecurity perspective. I cannot deny the fact, if it's plugged on, if it's connected, it's vulnerable. Today it might not be vulnerable, but tomorrow it could be. So I always, and I think all of us would be very foolhardy to assume that I have a impregnable system. So yes, all these tools are necessary, including the Zooms, which I mean, we heard a lot of news about with regards to the vulnerabilities and all. Having said that, Zoom is a need. It's a necessity. It connects people. It connects schools with their teachers, with their students, and God knows what all. It is a necessity. It's also a necessity to improve on the security of each and every one of
yeah,
these communication tools, digital solutions, whatever may it be that comes. And external drivers are the change customers want. That is why today banks have an app on the phone. You can do everything while you sit at home. You don't need to show up. Those drivers are always going to be external, and the driver enabler in the business has to be a CEO or a business head. It shouldn't be. I mean, at the end of the day, any one of us in IT can sit and say, I want to drive digital change. Who's going to give you the money? Who's going to, is your commercial functions, your procurement functions lined up to negotiate those digital partnerships? Is the
yes.
finance? So all of this, I think it's a business driven effort. That's my
Yeah,
comments on it.
yeah, that's good. So, Abhilash, you have any views around being into insurance industry? How you are utilizing these collaboration tools? Is there any impact you have seen? Are there any security threats you have seen while you are observing your networks, or any of those heavy transactions which are coming to your networks? You have any examples around that?
So I'll take from where Jacxine has left. So one thing is correct. The vulnerability is here to stay. Okay. So it's not that your systems are not impregnable. It's how quickly you can respond. So coming back to the collaboration tool, the all these systems. So as of now, temporarily we have blocked Zoom on our network, but we are using other tools like WebEx, and we are extensively using Google Meet. In fact, most of our quarterly meetings are happening over Zoom. So nobody, I mean, till 2 months back, nobody imagined that this would be a reality. So depending so
Yes.
much on the technology, so like you mentioned that I also always preferred a face-to-face meeting over a Zoom Connect or online meeting. But yes, so the difficult part here is not the vulnerability. The difficult part here is how you patch the vulnerability. So employees who are visiting the offices, it's easier for me to patch their system because they're already on the network. But employees, the system, the official system, if they are at home, I don't know when they are online. If they are online, they have to be on VPN for me to push the patches. So today, if there is a
Yeah.
ransomware, if there is a few indicators of compromise or hash signature, whatever you call them, that has been released, and for me to protect a WannaCry type of a ransomware, I have to immediately implement those solutions or those hashes on my system. There could be certain Windows level patches that I need to install it on my system, but my systems are offline. Most of the employees are sitting at home, and if it is a if they are not online for a week or so, that system is vulnerable. The moment he goes online, mail comes in and he clicks on it, boom, the system is compromised. So that's the biggest challenge for us. in terms of securing the infrastructure, because at the end of the day, you work from office, you work from the home, you are connected over the network. The systems what you're using is the endpoint system. It's the same thing. It's the delay in patching your system that will be the biggest concern. Apart from that, what Sudeep had mentioned, it's not about implementing new solutions. It's utilizing, it's optimum utilization of your existing solution. So one thing what we are currently doing, it we are trying to integrate all our solutions with the existing SIM solution, so that it collects logs from whatever available systems and try to correlate and throw up alerts in real time, and then we try to prevent attacks. So that is the strategy what we have adopted as of now. And moving on, we'll see. We'll evolve with time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's very good inputs, I must say. Manoj, you see, organizations are looking at aspirational journey these days. Everybody wants to get into a zero touch or to transform everything. Say it could be a mobile banking app or bring on some kind of a video KYC interface for those end users or video banking. Lot of demand is there from business teams. So Manoj, what is that so comfortable for you or uncomfortable for you being at such a situation? Is it a challenging situation or you are enjoying this situation these days?
Well, so we don't have choice. I mean, it's better to enjoy and transform. That's
Absolutely, yeah.
that's reality. So till before March, our organization, even to mark attendance, we have to be in either of the branch within our network.
Oh,
Concept of no VPN, nothing. So I reconnect last week of Feb. I initiated a BCP meeting looking into the situation of COVID, and
yeah.
within 2 to 3 weeks, we have completely migrated. I mean, Abhilash is there. So insurance industry is unlike other industry. We are managing our own call centers. We have to get connected with our customers, get connected with hospitals, get connected with different OEMs and all, and being a part of essential services. So anyway, we have to continue. So it's always better to enjoy. And recently, for as you mentioned, KYC, a lot of insurance company, they we have received a Aadhaar based KYC approval also.
Aadhaar or a video KYC. So
Right.
it's like some of those companies are ready for to do video based KYC. It will be really good for insurance and banks. Front officer don't have to really visit to the customer.
Correct.
They
A lot
can
of
do
cost
this video based
optimization.
KYC.
A lot of cost
Yeah, but
optimization.
there could be a lot of work because see, demand is such a huge and demand is so immediate. What does it mean? It means that we have to rely on those service providers who has created this video kind of ecosystem last 3 to 4 months. And whenever I personally go with them and ask them, are you ready with some VAPT certification or have you done that? At times they are clueless, or at times they will see it will be based upon company to company base and we'll do that later on. So I think that is a challenge. Although aspiration is good to do video KYC, but these guys are not ready with the actual security norms, many more compliance issues, and we don't know where we will land up if any of those KYC data is utilized by somebody hacker this and that. So I think these are the very different kind of a challenging situation. So much are happening from a business side, so much is demand. So maybe we can hear from Sudeep. So the kind of calls you used to attend before COVID, say January, Feb, or December, and kind of or number of calls you are attending today. Is there any difference, or your calls got reduced these days?
Call has definitely increased a lot more than what it was. As
Okay.
Abhilash was saying, right?
Yeah.
Security is the talk of the day. I want to do collaboration. People are talking about security first. Then, no, okay.
Yeah.
Second, I need the collaboration tool in place, and almost simultaneously, people are talking about security. So yes, the number of calls have gone up significantly, But what has also gone up significantly is the people asking now not for solutions. Earlier, everybody used to decide that here is the solution I want. People rarely talked about their problems. People were not open to discussing the problems. They would evaluate and they will say, okay, I need a VPN or I need a Zoom. People used to talk about a specific solution. And as OEMs, we were always restricted to just provide a product rather than a solution. Nowadays, the discussions are a lot more about, as I told you earlier, people are talking about details around how is it really going to help me. And from that perspective, one of the significant talks that we are having around 2 points I would like to here talk about, which I have heard, which I've been discussing a lot more, is one, zero trust model. People talk about zero trust model as a product. Of course, it was never a product. It was always a journey. Just like layered security was a concept which helped us create a good framework. The other, nowadays, zero trust has become even more significant is because it brings about the talk of context around the security. VPN is giving me a certain context of security.
Yeah.
Identity is giving the video KYC is giving me a certain context. Antivirus is giving me a certain context. And as Abhilash said, SIM was trying to take all of this context together and give me a level of trust. People were not doing data around that context, right? I was logging into an application and the data which I was accessing, nobody was really focusing on that criticality of the data that I was accessing on a particular application. People were talking in terms of email, DLP and all. But then all of these points now are seeing a lot more tying up together, right? When I am sharing a file on a collaboration tool, people are saying, okay, let's use a specific file transfer so that I can monitor what files are going back and forth. Let's monitor the criticality of the data that is being shown, and then based upon that, I will allow. So as you see, the zero trust model of bringing context from different security tools and a global context is deciding at any given point of time what is the decision that I'm going to take. It's not just the multi-factor authentication which gives me a strong authentication, but also continuously assessing whether I'm doing good things, whether I'm doing the things which are supposed to do, and make sure that it's a continuous security monitoring. That is becoming a lot a talk of the day. Whereas earlier it used to be always point in time. For example, the VAPT, right? Yeah. VAPT is the point in time. But then what happens if the zone is secure, the device is not secured, you are still again unsecure, right? So there's a continuous thing which is happening, and we are hearing a lot more.
I'm really glad to hear these views, and I was really waiting for these important views that continuous monitoring. So earlier we used to do VAPT, we used to be very happy to go live with that application, but never know. The current situation is it has to be continuous monitoring or have to have some mechanism like adaptive authentication or fraud risk management tools. And moreover, we need to make them so intelligent that your fraud risk management tool has to have some kind of a intelligence, say with the machine learning or AI, not sure. So I think maybe after 3 years, this will become normal to have an AI in every fraud risk management tool, or it will become normal to really to take care of those upcoming customers. Upcoming customers could be your devices or your IoT devices. So that's a post-COVID which we'll really look at. But during COVID, I think we were operating so seamlessly until February, March, at least in India, and all of a sudden we are into different zone. At times we are responding to regulators. At times we are responding to internal business projects. At times we are we are monitoring more thoroughly our networks. So what is that keeping you awake? Abhilash, Jacxine, Manoj, if you start with Abhilash, what is that it is keeping you awake and always keeping you early morning whenever you are up? This is the thing, this is the first thing you have to test, check whether your networks, your firewalls are these intact, how it is how this life has really changed now. Is there any change in your operational models, Abhilash?
Yeah. One second. Just so yeah. It's a pretty good question. Change, yes. Like I said, so now, as Jacxine or somebody else had already mentioned, that we are working in a boundaryless environment as of now. Threat
Yeah.
is always threat is always there, and now it has increased manyfold. Just to answer your question, yes, yes, there are multiple. I'm in the same group, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, something else has come up on my screen. The point being, yes, there are a number of alerts that keeps coming in on a day in basis, and pulling out false positive and working on the critical ones has been a challenge. Now, day in and day out, the alerts have gone up. You talk about the alerts coming on from the firewall. You talk about alerts coming in from the SIM tool. It has gone up like anything. There have been an instance wherein mid of night around 2 o'clock, I've been woken up by the SOC team that we are getting continuous hits from some the Russian countries, Uzbekistan and all those countries, and there's a continuous hit on our systems. At times you wonder if it's a targeted attack. Then you realize that they have been targeting other industries also. You talk to other people, and yes, they have come across the same kind of situation. So yes, attacks have increased. So continuous vigilance is something which is the need of the hour. And yes,
Yeah.
that it's always I mean, you're always on your toes. Okay, something or the other may go wrong, but then so far your systems are up to date. You have configured it well. I think these can be tackled.
Yeah. So, any Jackson, what's your view on this?
I think that a framework approach is also required in this. I think tools are continuously, like I said, I'm not taking any particular OEM's name, but I think all OEMs technology processes are one step behind the attackers. We are playing
Okay.
cat and
Yeah.
mouse game. We are the cat at all times. We are chasing. They have people in their effort to commit crime have come up with some truly innovative uh, methods. Now, one of the frameworks which I personally am very interested in, and I try to implement as much as possible in the environment, is the MITRE ATT&CK framework. I think that everybody's heard of various different frameworks. It works differently for different people. The Lockheed Martin cyber kill chain is one of them. But I think why I personally like the framework of MITRE ATT&CK is because it is a living framework. It allows you to forget about a particular technology or a particular signature or a particular. It talks about the behavior. It talks about the behavior that an attacker will take in your environment. How anything from reconnaissance all the way up to how he can do data expel, CNC, whatever it is. It talks about the techniques. And a lot of the solutions that are in the market today are
Yeah.
leveraging on MITRE ATT&CK framework. So I think understanding behavior. So wherever we have solutions, let's say SIEM is a common solution. I mean, I don't think any CISO or cybersecurity professional worth their salt will not have a SIEM, and there are a lot of OEM vendors for that. But I think it is point now that everybody goes back and says, let's move the SIEM to the next stage. Let's start looking at behaviors. Let's start looking at tactics, techniques. What are the common knowledges that we have on certain particular. Now, Abhilash mentioned from ex-Soviet Federation countries and all. We know some of the threat actors who have interest, let's say, in this part of the world. Then can we use that common knowledge to, let's say, tighten the security controls in our environment, especially since we know these things? So I think this is where we have to move out of the technology driven part of it and talk about the adversary, basically threat hunting to that effect. So that's my.
I think that's really good view, both Abhilash and Jacxine. Manoj, what's your view, please?
Yeah, well, Jackson and Avilas, they rightly mentioned most of the things. So I would like to add only one thing, that is, we have now devices, we have users. Uh, so down the line, we may think of some kind of control where identity should have
Yeah.
kind of, access control and device posture as well. For an example, if someone is using VDI, I mean, will it go to full screen, or will he be able to take screenshots or not? So those kind of purely user based, access based, irrespective of devices we use, because nowadays, people are joining remotely. So they are using their
Yes.
own workstation. So I don't have any control. And even if I have NAC solution and the workstation has some problem, I should be ready to take that risk and allowing that person to work. So that kind of
Yeah.
solution, are very important nowadays to be implemented to ensure, the cyber security strategy and business strategy are in line.
Yeah, so I think you will see post COVID this strategy will also change. Okay, so I'm not sure working from home is a new norm, people say, but in Indian context we had to really learn that. So we are working now limitless. Yeah, so I think Sudeep has mentioned that we are working from home, and as we are always in home, it's always working from home. We are always working. Our work hours has increased from normal 8 hours to maybe 16 hours, considering how many different stakeholders are working, coordinating, collaborating. So post COVID, do we see that the whatever current frameworks, whatever current processes we are governing, so do you see that post COVID, what is that thing we need to work on? Say, for example, the today's current strategy, current process, current crisis management plan may not work tomorrow. Are we in a situation that next 12 months, for next 12 months, are we ready to work from home? Or next 3 months, are we ready to work from home? So there are so many challenges. It doesn't mean that it's only around cybersecurity area or CISO area. There are other stakeholders like developers. There are other stakeholders like business team. There are other stakeholders like management team members or human resource or admin operations. Everybody has to go to office for some or the other task, right? It is not completely work from home. So during such situation, say example development, most of the developers might be working from home or developing from home. I'm not sure how they are moving their source codes from their laptops to the actual source code repository. There is some leakage around that. There are some operations like contact center. Some of the contact center agents are operating from home, where your customer will hear some of the voices from kids. So it's all different situation which may not be entertained or may not be around the regulation. So if you have to really keep regulation adherence or compliance, so what is that we need to take care in future? So now we have a lot of time to create that readiness structure here on. I am seeing many people are doing reskilling, learning AI, blockchain, or learning the cybersecurity things. So are these CISOs or ourselves are creating or some other crisis management or some other kind of a framework? I think Jacxine has given very good views around that. But I want to deliberate this round of question only around how are we keeping ourselves ready post COVID? Like post COVID, once we enter in the office, situation will be quite different. So to begin with Sudeep, how are we? How do you feel that post COVID banks or insurance companies or company like Adani, they should work? What all things they should adopt as a technology tools or a technology practice or any of those cybersecurity frameworks? So yeah, Sudeep, if you can add your view so that all of others will chip in and brainstorm, are we ready for that situation?
Uh, Things the new normal as far as security is concerned, apart from work from home and the collaboration and the plethora of devices that we have seen, that is going to continue, right? So as you rightly mentioned earlier, we're going to have a lot more IoT systems, a lot more microservices, which will have their own individual identities. And Manoj sir talked about the importance of identity, not just a physical identity, but also identity of these devices and these services that are going to interact with each other. We're going to see a lot more service-oriented architectures that was a word used to use a lot earlier, but nowadays we don't use it, but it's still a reality, right? We are going to still go ahead and use a lot more containers. We are going to a lot more cloud, a lot more shadow IT. So the attack surface is going to remain, it will continue increasing. And for us to able to make sure that we build that context across all of these different devices, devices which are mobile, devices which are laptops, desktops, identities which are as diverse as people from home, people on from remote, outsourced. So there will be a lot more different kind of identities. Lot more applications are going to get exposed over the internet. Earlier, we used to do VAPT only of those applications which were exposed to the net. Now we're going to have applications which are not, for example, I'm hearing a lot many factory networks on internet now. And people are saying, I don't even know what to do with these factory networks which are getting exposed over the net. Privileged access over the internet. All of these things will become a reality. And as Jacxine was talking about the behavioral part, the MITRE framework adoption, all of these aspects will make sure that the coverage. See, MITRE, I think I love that thing of MITRE is because it gives me the complete view of what I should be covering. End to end. I mean, kill chain, it will end to end. Layered security, end to end. So MITRE being an open and live document or a live framework helps me. So adoption of MITRE, adoption of zero trust, adoption of proper identity verification, data security, and device security. I think these are going to become a good detailed security plans are going to come. And of course, not forgetting the DevSecOps, right? The DevSecOps is again another important aspect of security that we'll see a lot more deliberations around.
Yeah, I think awesome. I think you covered almost what to do in a post-COVID, how organizations should be ready for these things, and that was just imagine last 2.5 minutes we were talking, and if anybody will hear that and really implement that, will be really awesome game changer for this. So I think I'll ask Manoj, like, do you see these kind of a plans you are working on as an organization, or you have any other additional views? Manoj, are you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I were on mute. So yeah,
okay,
of course,
okay.
so far, so how to manage the privileged and virtual. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
I see something else on my screen. So I'm not sure whether I'm on the same discussion. Or
yeah, you are on the same panel.
Yeah, the
go
same.
Ahead, go ahead.
Who joined us in this room?
So
right
definitely we are looking for such kind of identity based solution. If some SI or some OEM can help us out, and definitely zero trust also. Because so logically, if you say even we implement zero trust, we have to trust somebody. But yes, of course, it will be a kind of mitigating the risk to some acceptable level. So these things, yes, of course, we are working on, especially in terms of identity-based, management and zero trust deploying within our organization to ensure even if such pandemic situation in future, we should be in better position to align security with the business requirement and strategies.
Yeah, so certainly all organizations need to move on some different operating models. We heard very good from Sudeep, Manoj. So Jacxine, you have any last pointers which should organizations should really take care of that, considering the architectures, like lot of changes going to happen in architectures or bringing up your own devices, what all new rules around those things could be. So maybe you can add all of your input, Jacxine. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Prasanna. Everybody raised very interesting topics. I think there is one aspect which we also need to consider: the post-COVID situation and the new normal is data privacy. The data privacy is in.
Yeah, go ahead. I think this was a point I was waiting for somebody to touch upon. Thanks, Jacxine. Go ahead.
So it's going to become a reality. It got delayed because of the COVID and everything, but it's coming tomorrow. With this new normal that we are going to have, where people's personal devices are going to get used, or where you are tomorrow, organizations. In fact, today I'm sure somebody will tell you, organizations are looking at productivity tools. How do I ensure my employees are productive? How can I monitor them? And how much of that productivity will infringe upon the privacy of the employee is going to be questioned. Can he sit in his house with his family around him and the productivity tools take snapshots, which may or may not? So these are aspects, I think, while not necessarily only a cybersecurity or an information security question, I think CISOs will have to address these things, to see whether or not this lie comes within the gamut of the new post-COVID reality that we're going to have. So data privacy, I think, is going to be one of the drivers for the solutions and the processes that we put into place. How much can we monitor on personal devices, whether it is allowed, and whether an employee can be held responsible for those kind of things that you find on that. I think this is going to be an interesting aspect also that is going to come out of this as and when the data privacy bill becomes a reality.
Yeah. So any last thoughts? Hello.
Yeah, Manoj here. Prasanna.
Yeah, Abhilash. Any last thoughts?
No, Manoj here, Prasanna.
Yeah, Manoj, go ahead, please.
So the last thought, despite we have multiple or layered approach of security, but so far so technical controls are concerned, we cannot guarantee 100% security. So last but not least, we should equally focus on educating our employees for security awareness.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's a practice. One cannot have different practice for his personal life and his professional life. So security awareness will also be coming, very interesting and very, a kind of portfolio in upcoming future.
Absolutely, I agree with you. So employee awareness is very, very important. I think this is a time we have to create awareness around employees, how to really tackle incidences, how incident response has to be given. In a normal situation, we are completely aware. But in a COVID kind of a scenario, if you are receiving some email in your mailbox, which may not be relevant to your organization, and you feel that it's some fishy, that it's not coming from CEO or it is coming from somebody else, I think incident response or many other aspects, I think employees should know how they should tackle this situation, whom to contact. Is it a CISO or a risk officer? How a risk officer, CISO should go back and intimate to the regulator. I think these are the new norms employees should work. So very, very good inputs, Manoj. So final thought, Abhilash, if you can add your final thought around post-COVID scenarios. What is that you are thinking of? How you will go back and start your working in the post-COVID scenarios?
Sure.
I think,
gentlemen, just I'm so sorry to cut in. We are running short of time, so if you could just have the quick final output, please. Thank you.
Yes. So last, so Bhavna, we are getting last views from Abhilash. After that, we are open for questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you. The point is the threat and the issues is here to stay. It's how you respond. So as you rightly said, it's how we respond to it, and all the present controls and security aspects should evolve. That's how we would be getting back to the normal scenario again. So yeah, that's the final view from my side.
Sure.
Sure. I think we are open for questions. Thank you so much, Abhilash, Sudeep, Manoj, and Jacxine for extensive discussion before COVID, during COVID, post-COVID. A lot of things we have learned today. So over to you, Bhavna. If you have any questions from the audiences, we are happy to take these questions.
Sure. So, Prasanna, firstly, great moderation right there. Thank you so much for being a part of this amazing panel. So, Prasanna, just because we're pressing in short for time for time right now, so we're not going to be able to take more questions right now. But I would really like to thank all my panelists today once again. Thank you so much, Abhilash, Jacxine, Manoj, Sudeep, and Prasanna, of course. So once again, a big thank you for joining us and being a part of our second panel. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Trescon group and Salim and Bhavna and everybody for inviting us to give our views. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.